What's up everyone, John from ARTV. It's time for a review of the new album by alternative band Walk the Moon. It's called What If Nothing. And thank you to FYE for sending me their exclusive colored vinyl copy of the record. If you guys want to pick this up, it sounds and looks fantastic on the turntable. It comes with a full fold-out poster with the album artwork, which is really cool. It's like a desert mirage. And obviously this is a two-colored vinyl. We've got obviously white, and then we have the beautiful purple. You can't even see it, but maybe you can. It's got the nice cloud thing going on there. It's just like kind of a marbled swirl. So if you want to pick that up, obviously you guys get a cool record that you enjoy for yourselves, especially if you're digging this record. It's the top link down below. Pick one up. It helps out you and obviously me. Almost exactly 3 years later, taking a page out of Taylor Swift's book, they are back with a new album the same day as Taylor Swift. And both albums are 55 minutes long. Wait, what's going on here? Their last album, Talking Is Hard, was one of my favorites of 2014, a fantastic synth pop 80s callback. Wait, that's another similarity with Taylor. What the hell? In all seriousness, I do love Talking Is Hard. It's a great callback to the 80s synth pop alternative. Just a variety of different styles of music. You've got obviously your smash single Shut Up and Dance, which I still love, a great guitar groove and just obviously sing-along worthy. I love that song from the start. I predicted it being a hit, and lo and behold, I didn't know that it would be that big of a hit, but it was, and I'm happy for the band. But I also think that that put a lot of pressure on them to really follow it up, and here on this new album, What If Nothing, the desert theme and the themes of nature are very prevalent for a reason. I think that it was kind of like them imagining themselves in a desert, saying, all right, we've got no map. We're going to have to draw our own way out. Where do we go from here? And that's what they did with this album. And as a result, we do go off course a few times. Obviously, if they're lost in the wild, you know you're not always knowing exactly where to go. And some of these moments do feel like absolute misfires. But then you've got some slamming tunes that are absolute bops. So I'm a little bit confused as a result on the end result of What If Nothing. If you saw my review of One Foot, you know that I love that song. It's very motivational. It's a big kind of inspiring glam pop song that is very bombastic, a little bit theatric, and it can get a bit grating with time, especially with like the pitch shifting and everything, and the ooh styled vocals. I mean, with repeated listens, yeah, it gets a little bit tedious to the old eardrums, but I still really do enjoy that song. But the second song that we got off of this album is called Headphones, and I think that it is the best song that they have here. This song was just hitting me like a ton of bricks because it caught me that off guard. I thought if anything they were going to continue going down a poppy path, and I was a little bit concerned, but something like Headphones just absolutely takes your point of view and just turns it upside down, because they're like, all right, we're going to make something more hard-hitting, more rocking, and they rock the hell out on a moment like Headphones. The guitars are loud, especially in the breakdown section of this, and the lyrical content, once again, while personal and motivating, also just feels like it connects on several different levels. I can take a beating like a good pair of headphones, and you can learn a lot from them, obviously saying they go everywhere, they're rugged, they make it through, you know, you twist them up around your phone, your iPod, whatever you listen to music on, they go everywhere. And it's just like sometimes in life you have to be under the thumb like that and you eventually rise up. The 80s filled disco and synth pop is definitely still a big factor on this album, but not immediately so. There's definitely traces of it on some of the opening moments, but it's really the middle section of this record where I feel that the most, starting with track number 4, which is called Surrender. That was one of the pre-release singles. As you guys probably know, I only listen to 2 songs before an album comes out normally, so I only heard Headphones and obviously One Foot, the lead single. Now this moment is definitely something that took me back into the vibe, and I immediately started connecting with it because it's just got that kind of spacey, synthy vibe that you just want to crawl into, and you're like, this is what I come to Walk the Moon for. They have a great knack for just crafting a song like that where the melody just entrances you and you become kind of hypnotized as you listen to that. And that continues throughout the next couple of songs too. All I Want, which has some peppy as hell drums, which I love. It's almost reminding me of disco and something more modern and alternative at the same time, and that chorus just definitely hits the right pitch for me. And right after that, All Night, another captivating one that sees me a little bit on the different side of the fence in terms of like how I'm feeling about the vibe of the song. It's not necessarily straight 80s or really straight anything, but it's very much Walk the Moon, and it's definitely something that I'm on board with. What If Nothing gets off to a bit of a wobbly start though. Press Restart isn't my favorite of Walk the Moon songs, and there's definitely some clunkers on this album that tie things up and make me feel like there's just an element that's missing that was there before. And I think it has to do with them pushing themselves, and perhaps the label as well. I don't know how much a hand was kind of over them, guiding them where to go, especially after having such a big song, but they are on a major label, so I have to believe that that was maybe perhaps at least in the back of their mind. And putting yourself up against a wall like that isn't always a good thing. And I think that they definitely alleviated a lot of that pressure by writing some really good songs, especially in the midsection and some of the closers as well. But there's some in there that just kind of have me scratching my head. And Press Restart is kind of one of those. It's definitely not one of the worst on this album, but it's just kind of existing for me. In terms of what's actually pushing me away actively, it's looking at moments like Kamikaze. That one has this thing that I absolutely hate. It's a trend in modern pop music where you hear those muted acoustic guitar chords and it's looped over and over again, and you add in some snaps, some hand claps, and a little bit of choppy percussion. And it just sounds like everything else on the radio, anything AC, Top 40, anything like that outside of the world of hip-hop and trap. And it's just like maybe the wicked love child of Shawn Mendes, Justin Bieber's Love Yourself, and Walk the Moon. It's a pass, a hard pass. Feels Good to Be High is the band on cruise control, and unfortunately that's not exactly a compliment here. It's not a bad tune really, it's got a decent melody to it, the instrumental's catchy, but it's so repetitive that I cannot get into this song, and just the whole I'm chillin', just the line that's repeated throughout the entire song. Not a fan. No, not a fan. And then we, right before that, have a song that I just do not understand. Sound of Awakening. This is something that sounds like an homage to Imogen Heap and Hide and Seek. You know, the where are we? Except vocoded to hell and the what you say. You know, you've seen either the SNL sketch or else you've heard Jason Derulo sampling it. What I'm getting at is that this is a weird concept for a song for Walk the Moon, especially on this album. It sticks out. You could pick this out of the lineup instantly and be like, all right, yeah, that's Sound of Awakening right there. Obviously, the one with the minute-and-a-half vocoded vocal intro. It's something where the spotlight's just on Nick Petrica, and we don't really get anything else until that point, and then the vocals let up a little bit as the other instruments start to come in, and the song is over 6 minutes long. It's just an unwelcome guest here, and I'm not a fan at all. Getting back to some positives, I definitely feel that the band has a good sense of a groove throughout the album. As it goes on, you see that they are playing with the tight-knit chemistry, and while some of the tracks do feel a bit recycled, I can still appreciate them, and I can see them trying some new things, and I think that the next album is hopefully where they're really going to find their footing. But some of the moments here aren't bad at all, and I'm happy with what we get. We get something like Tiger Teeth. That's a slower, more intimate one, and I love the synth build there. It's something that I could see being played at an 80s themed prom, maybe even in Stranger Things, as a part of the soundtrack or an homage to the Stranger Things soundtrack, because this track has all of those vibes going on, and I am all for it. I gotta show some love for Can't Sleep Wolves. That one in particular really stood out to me because of the vocals, especially leading up to the chorus and in the chorus. Those high notes, he excels there and just roars through that, and the guitar is definitely the emphasis and focus here. And I missed that. I've missed that with Walk the Moon. They've always had that synth presence and a little bit of electronics, but something like this just feels a little bit more natural for them, and it plays to their strengths. It's their forte. The two closing moments right after that are In My Mind and Lost in the Wild, and I can't say that In My Mind is anything all that memorable. I don't feel like it struck me, but then again, it does have a nice bass groove to it, something that almost calls to mind the Red Hot Chili Peppers, not because it's a big booming bass guitar or a subwoofer type bass or anything like that, but because the bass is just being slapped around. And if you don't know the Chili Peppers, then I don't know, maybe all you meme lovers out there, it reminds you of the Seinfeld theme song, boom da-da-dum da-da-dum-dum. Lost in the Wild kind of ties everything all together, and I can't help but feeling like I'm shrugging my shoulders a bit at this release, just because I'm not left impressed. I'm not left with the best taste in my mouth. There's like 6 songs that I'm probably gonna pick off of this, and 6 songs that I consider favorites, but outside of that, some of them are just fine. Some of them I think are actively kind of bad, like Sound of Awakening and Kamikaze, and I just don't know how much I'm going to be coming back to this record as a whole. I'm definitely excited about some of the songs, and I'm excited that they're back. It's just that I wish that they had a little bit more gusto and staying power to them. But this is all just my opinion, guys. For me, personally, I'm going to light up the board here with a 3 out of 5. That is my take on the new Walk the Moon album, What If Nothing. Please be sure to drop a like on this review. Let me know what other albums you want to see me cover in the future. We're coming up on year-end list season, so be ready, people. If you're new, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on that. And if you're able to, please support me on Patreon. It's the second link down below. And if you want to grab this album on vinyl, it is the top link. The direct link to my Patreon is right over here in the corner of the screen. If you want to see my last Walk the Moon album review for Talking is Hard, it's right there below me. If you want to see another alternative review, right over here. All of my social media can be found in the description down below. And other than that, I'll see you very soon right here on ARTV.